There is a little-known saying that a criminal will wear his crimes like a mask. I never thought much to its meaning, but that's how he always left the bodies, painted in the manner of whatever gruesome crime they had committed. After a year or so, he was almost regarded as a hero, ridding the country of its murderers, its rapists and paedophiles. And in all that time, we never even came close to catching him. And deep down inside, well, I think part of me didn't want to.
The serial vigilante, who has become known as the Painted Man, has now been under siege in the building behind me for just under 3 hours. He is armed and has already opened fire on police twice. It is also now confirmed that he is holding one hostage, whose identity is currently unknown. Police negotiators have been in dialogue with the vigilante since they arrived, and approximately 10 minutes ago he agreed to speak only with the detective inspector in charge of his investigation. We understand that the officer in question has just entered the building, unarmed, to start talks.
I'm Detective Inspector David Farnell.
I know who you are. You see the packing crate to your left? I want you to move slowly towards it and sit down.
I'm here to ask you to surrender. Please just put the gun down. No one's going to harm you.
Don't patronise me, David. Do you think I went to all this trouble just to surrender to you? Do you think all this was an accident? In 3 years you didn't even come close to catching me. You think I'm suddenly going to make a mistake like this?
So what do you want?
You. I want you, David. Or at least I want to talk to you. And I'm sure you want to talk to me. You know, why do I do what I do? And what does it feel like to kill one of these animals?
You think I admire you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
No, I don't.
You think I'm just some sort of a psychopath, is that it? Well, I don't believe you. You see, I think you'll find that I know you a little better than you think I do.
Go on then.
David Joseph Farnell, born the 4th of May 1963, educated at Edinburgh University, joined the Metropolitan Police Force in June 1984, progressed quickly to Detective Inspector by July 1991. You live in Chiswick with your 4-year-old daughter Sarah. You have a tendency to talk in your sleep. Need I go on?
Who are you?
You know, it must be difficult bringing up your daughter Sarah on your own, without your wife, without Karen. That was cruel, wasn't it?
It was a long time ago.
Don't lie to me, David. There isn't a day goes by when you don't think of her. I've seen you. I've seen you put your daughter to bed. Then you go back to your own room. And then you cry yourself to sleep.
Just get to the point.
I just want you to know that I know how you feel.
I doubt it.
Look, I know how much you loved your wife. And in one night you lost it all. And they didn't find him, did they? The man who did it. He could still be out there doing the same thing to someone else's wife. I need to tell you a story. About 4 years ago there was an armed robbery. 3 gunmen burst into a London bank on Friday lunchtime. I think you might remember it. The police were tipped off, so they decided they were going to try and take them while they were still inside. In the resulting shooting, 7 people were shot and killed. There was 2 bank clerks, a gunman, a policeman, a little old lady, and my wife and my son. You see, in their bid to escape, they just shot at everything in their path. Do you want to know the best bit? 2 of them had previous convictions for armed robbery.
I remember.
I know you do. It was one of your first cases.
Elaine. Her name was Elaine.
And the boy? Toby. His name was Toby and he was 3 years old. You know when you first tell people and they look sad for a moment, then you look in their eyes, you can see they don't really understand what it means to lose your reason for living. But you know, don't you, David? You know what it means to wake up in the morning, and in that twilight between wakefulness and sleep, everything's perfect the way it used to be. The son sleeping soundly in the room next door. You can smell your wife's perfume on the pillow. So you reach out to touch her. But she's not there. And in that blinding flash of realization, all the pain and suffering comes flooding back like a knife in your heart. And all you really want to do is die. Do you want to know why I do what I do? I don't think anybody should have to go through this senseless suffering because some piece of filth is neither behind bars or dead.
Is that how you justify this?
Justify? Justify? How can you say that? How can you say that after what happened to Karen? Who's going to protect us from that? The police? The courts? If they protected us, I would still have a family and you would still have a mother for Sarah. It was me, David. I was the one who had to protect us. And I only ever did what should have been done in the first place. Now think about it. Just think what it must be like to watch one of those animals die.
So you do take pleasure in doing this?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You're sick.
Sick! Sick! You don't believe that for a moment. The person you loved most in the world was taken from you viciously. When the police failed to find Karen's killer, you spent a year of your own life trying to track him down. You almost lost your job. They almost took Sarah away from you. Now why was that, David? Why were you willing to risk everything to find this man? And what were you going to do when you found him? Were you going to arrest him? Were you going to talk to him? Or were you going to kill him?
No.
You're a liar, David. You were going to hurt him.
No.
You were going to hurt him the way that he hurt Karen. What if I was to tell you I know where he is? What if I was to tell you that I know the whereabouts of the man that killed your wife?